So for my religion sustainability project, I decided to cover religion and UN Goal 14 and how they pertain to one another. What is Goal 14? Goal 14 is to conserve and sustainably use the ocean scenes and marine resources for sustainable development. Their goals are to prevent and reduce ocean pollution, protect marine and coastal ecosystems, minimize and address the impacts of ocean acidification, regulate harvesting and end overfishing, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, and enhance the conservation and sustainable use of oceans. So there are a couple issues related to the Tampa Bay area. Actually, there's a lot of issues due to Tampa Bay being, well, a bay. So for the issues related to the Tampa Bay area, I wanted to cover first the seagrass issue. So between 2016 and 2022, Tampa Bay's seagrass coverage has dropped by 28%. Now, you may wonder why this is important. Well, that's because the benefits of seagrass are immense. So firstly, important, they serve as a territory, environment, and feeding ground for thousands of species that contribute to the environment. They also capture and store tons of carbon from the atmosphere, like many of the plants on land do. They also help support commercial fisheries by keeping the ecosystem running and fish alive. They contribute to biodiversity. They help clean the surrounding water and are believed to be the third most valuable ecosystem in the world. The second I wanted to cover are the harmful algae blooms, aka what we usually know as the red tide. So due to increase in sunlight and nutrients, dangerous and harmful amounts of algae are starting to grow, which leads to a variety of issues. So red tide is an accumulation of Carina brevis, a type of single-celled organism called a dinoflagellate. And they are able to produce neurotoxins, which are really harmful and capable of causing respiratory problems in humans, which is why humans cannot swim during red tide. They also tend to attack the nervous system of fish and other wildlife, which leads off to the mass killing of them and often why they wash up on shore. In high concentrations, it can even kill birds and even some marine mammals. The third issue is the problem of stormwater and urbanization. Urbanization has become a big issue in Tampa due to the growing population. Because of this, Tampa does not have the resources set up to keep a clean runoff system, which ends up polluting the ocean and impacting water quality. Stormwater is the single largest source of pollution in the watershed. Nitrogen is the primary pollutant in Tampa Bay. 59% of it comes from stormwater. And also in Tampa Bay, there is little, if any, storm treatment before entering larger bodies of water, which leads to the harmful algae blooms that cause red tide, increase of amount of debris and microplastics in the environment, and limits the amount of oxygen in the water. Other pollutants that have also become a big issue from the bay are sediment, which inhibits sunlight, causes animals to die from causes plants to die from lack of sun. Oil and grease can poison and harm aquatic systems. Toxic metals, if they're eaten, they will kill off marine life. Bacteria, humans can get really sick from swimming in it. And trash and debris have reduced recreation and navigation. Religious contributions. So sadly, for a lot of religions, the ocean does not go hand in hand with it. So this was very challenging to research, but I also feel it is the most important reason for this research because of the lack of overlap. Religious organizations often focus around people-centered issues. While important, the ocean is a primary concern in the scientific community and often require more scientific expertise. Large amount of religions are based around urban areas with lots of people, and so they aren't actually on the water and therefore do not contribute as much to conservation efforts. And the ocean-based projects usually do require more funding, which a lot of religious churches, mosques do not have. So despite this, In religion, there is actually a big significance on water due to it being such an important part of life on earth. For example, in Islam, Muslims pray 5 times a day. Before each prayer, it is necessary to perform a ritual to be spiritually pure. Wudu is a cleansing ritual that is an important part of purity and cleanliness in Islam, and it follows the process to wash hands, mouth, nostrils, arm, face, ears, hair, and feet, and it prepares one mentally and physically for the prayer. Zamzam water is regarded as blessed holy water and can perform miracles. Muslims drink the water for protection, for blessing, and for cure. It is used at weddings to bless the bride and groom, for mothers after giving birth, for babies, and for sick people. Some use Zamzam to spray over kafan shrouding the deceased in white textiles before their burial, and pour Zamzam water on the graves of their beloved relatives. Also in Islam, it is seen as a strong act to be offering water to the thirsty. For Christianity, the oceans are under God's creation. Due to this, they could fall under the idea of stewardship. As God declares, all earth is mine in Exodus 9:5, all the land is mine, Leviticus 22:9, every beast of the forest is mine and the cattle upon 1,000 hills, for the world is mine in fullness therefore. Psalm 50:10-12. And this explains the command of Genesis 2:15. And the Lord God took man and put him into the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it, to improve and maintain it. This is the stewardship role, and this extends beyond the garden. It extends to us on earth and taking care of God's creations, which also does include the ocean. In Buddhism, selflessness and mindfulness, compassion and wisdom are its core values. Mindfulness and clear comprehension are at the heart of Buddhist practices. Due to this also falls into the compassion for the ocean and how we can serve it. Water has also been known to cultivate virtues of calmness, clarity, and purity in Buddhism, and also represents cleansing. In Buddhism, our goal is to live together and exist with all beings of the earth. 2 Buddhist symbols under the 8 auspicious symbols, which represent good fortune and derive from Indian iconography, are actually sea life. The conch in Buddhism, a white conch that coils to the right, symbolizes the renown of Buddhist teachings. The second one are the 2 golden fish, which symbolize fertility and abundance, as they have many offspring. They also represent happiness in Buddhism, and they have complete freedom and choose their rebirth. Due to this, these are symbols in Buddhism that are important and exist in the ocean, which is why it should be a larger care. Lastly, Judaism, which has a big emphasis on the ocean itself. Water has always held significance in Judaism as a life-sustaining element. One of the Hebrew terms for water is Ma'av Cham, or water of life, and this plays a central role in Jewish rituals, symbolizing purification and renewal, as well as spiritual connection. Some rituals, such as the mikvah, or ritual hand washing before eating the bread. Another one is talik, which is is a ritual in which individuals or communities gather near a body of flowing water, such as a creek or even an ocean, and they cast away their sins by throwing pieces of bread into the water and reciting a specific prayer. Showing this water washes away their sin and gives them a new clean slate. Not only that, but in Genesis 1, the primordial deep is the basic resource of which all creation emerges, except for humanity. Rainwater in the oceans come from separation of the deep. Land comes out of the oceans, as do fish and birds. In Genesis 1, God orders the water to conform to God's design for creation, and the water does not resist God's commands. So in Judaism, ocean is the foundation of every life on earth besides humanity. So in Tampa Bay, there are 2 organizations I found that have strong ties to the ocean and are working to improve the quality. One is the Living Seawall, which is hosted by the Church of the Sea. The Church of the Sea is a non-denominational Christian church, and they are committed to the idea of stewardship, restoration, and leading faith in action. It started when a child's illness caused by the polluted water canal and the church's need to replace its aging seawall came hand in hand. The church began to collaborate with marine scientists in order to help fight against rising seas, aging infrastructure, and declining water quality. Their goal is to protect property without sacrificing the health of the marine environment, and it sits on a narrow canal, which led to them forming the idea of building a vertical seawall. And it will be the first seawall to fully integrate habitat features directly into the structure. And the benefits of it allows water quality monitoring, oysters to filter water. It fosters the growth of seagrass, which we know is important, and it supports biodiversity and will also serve as a research platform for marine scientists in the area. The second organization I found was Repair the Sea, which their goal is to share the spiritual wonders of water and the sea from a Jewish perspective. They want to raise awareness about threats facing the aquatic environment and show that the Jewish community is committed to the protection and preservation of marine environment. They want to address local aquatic conservation issues from a Jewish perspective and participate in hands-on restoration and citizen science initiatives to improve the aquatic environment. They have hosted Water Torah Jewish learning, and they have done hands-on science as well as participated in waterfront cleanups and even have cleaned up debris from local reefs and helped plant coral. So some of the proposed solutions for the issues facing the marine ecosystem at the moment would to be support nonprofits. One, you could volunteer in coral restoration, seagrass or oyster restoration programs, aquarium or rehabilitation center, shoreline and coastal cleanups. Another thing you as a person can do is advocate for clean water policies, educate, participate in local government, sign petitions, and just educate yourself. You can also help by supporting sustainable fisheries, buying from local fishers rather than corporations, advocate for safer fishing procedures, and just try and educate people on the issues revolving around fishing and overfishing, commercial fishing, etc. Another thing you can do is reduce your personal water impact. Use less water, recycle indoor water to use on plants. You can also help prevent water pollution by not dumping oils, chemicals into your water, and also instead of throwing your trash in a garbage disposal, you could instead compost it, which not only helps keep our waters clean, but also allows for us to have a nicer earth as well, just keeping the earth clean, and instead of it going to a landfill, you're participating in helping the environment. So why I chose to cover this, I actually have a friend who is a churchgoer, and she has been a marine biology major for multiple years. I chose to cover this because I see how much she cares, and I wish to understand how religion can impact that. Not only that, but to also help bring attention to marine issues and discussing in larger communities like religious communities how we can help solve them and educate the public on the importance of marine life conservation due to how often it is overlooked by people. And here are my sources.